So now we're going to do our final example together, example 4, and it's going to ask us to solve for a missing side x in a right triangle, and then we're going to round to the nearest tenth. So we're still going to be using this idea of SOHCAHTOA, but here we have to decide which trig ratio should I use to find that angle or that missing side x. So I have to think here, my angle I'm working with, my theta, is 24. So what is the relationship of each of these sides to my angle 24? Well, my 12 is right next to 24, so it's going to be adjacent. This is an adjacent side. It's not the hypotenuse, right? Because the hypotenuse is the longest side. That can't be my adjacent. My longest side, the one opposite the right angle, is always, always, always my hypotenuse. So my adjacent side is the side next to my angle 24 that is not the hypotenuse, in this case 12. What is my side x here to my angle, my 24? It's going to be my opposite side. It's across from my angle 24. So if I take a look at which one of these ratios uses both the opposite and the adjacent side, that's going to be my tangent, my opposite over adjacent. So my tangent of 24 degrees here is going to be my opposite side over my adjacent side, which here my opposite side is x and my adjacent side is 12. So my tangent of 24 degrees is going to be x over 12. We're trying to solve for x, so we want to get x by itself. Let's multiply by 12 on both sides. So we get 12 times the tangent of 24 degrees is going to equal x. So now I'm going to find x by putting this into my calculator. Before I do that, I need to make sure my calculator is set to degrees, because as you can see here, we're working with degrees. So I'm going to go to mode, and then down to the third row, and hit degree. Then I'll go back to my main page, and I will type in 12 times tangent, my tangent button's right here, of 24. And since our calculator is set to 24 degrees, it knows that 24 means 24 degrees. And we're going to get and we're going to round to the nearest tenth, 5.34 for our final answer for this one. So the length of that missing side x is going to be, 5.3, round to the nearest tenth. Sorry about that. So our x is going to be 5.3. It would be 5.34 if we were rounding to the nearest hundredth. But here it asked for a tenth. Make sure you're paying attention to which place the problem is asking for. So let's do B. It's going to be the same type of problem. We're trying to find that missing side x. So we're going to use SOHCAHTOA again and figure out which ratio we're working with. So our angle that we're using here is 37, and then we want to find what relationship do these sides have to our angle 37. So 11 here, our side 11, is going to be adjacent because it's right next to it. And our side x here is our hypotenuse. It's our longest side, and it's opposite that right angle. So let's look and see which one of our ratios uses the adjacent and the hypotenuse. So that's going to be cosine. So my cosine of 37 degrees is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. So in this case, that's going to be 11 over x. So cosine of 37 degrees equals 11 over x. So now I'm trying to get my x by itself again. So this one's a little bit trickier. So whenever you have an x on the bottom, something you can do is multiply both sides by x. So let's do that. Let's multiply both sides by x. So we get x times cosine of 37 degrees equals 11. And now keep in mind, we're still trying to get that x by itself. So we're going to have to do another step here. Now we divide both sides by cosine of 37. Almost the same as the last problem, just one more step to get that x by itself. So these are going to cancel out, and my x will give me 11 over cosine of 37 degrees. I'm going to put that into my calculator, which is already set to degrees. If your calculator is not set to degrees yet, make sure you do that first. Again, you go to mode, down to the third row into degree. So I'm going to enter 11 divided by my cosine, the button right here, of 37. And I will get 13.8 because we want to round to the tenths place. So my x, my side x here, equals 13.8.